जी
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm going to do my best to read this Pauri, and I'll just, any mistakes, please feel free to correct me. And I'll just give my interpretations as we go along, I think, and then at the end, I guess we'll just open for discussion. But yeah, so please, feel free to correct me as I go. I think first we'll just start at the top. This is Mehla Pehla. Duk dar suk rog baya suk tham na hoy. Tun karna min nahi ja how karna hoy. So this is the message here, I believe, is that we seek the Creator when we're suffering, and we feel pleasure as kind of a disconnection from the Creator, or we don't connect and remember the Creator when we're in a in a happy place. But the message is really that the Creator is infused in everything that I do, whether I remember it or have awareness or not. The next section says, Balehari Kudrat Vasya Tera Antu Na Jai Lakhya Rahao. So here the message is that you, the Creator, are present everywhere, and I'm devoted to the timeless Creator. I guess devoted is how I would describe the Balahari. And maybe instead of sacrifice, I would say devoted. Let's see. It says also, it's the Creator is limitless. There's no limit to the Creator's reach or powers, and we should contemplate this. So the next section, it says, Jat me jot, jot me jat, akal kala, parpur rahya. Tun sacha sahib sifat, suhaliao, suhala, can't get this word. Sualio, thank you. Jin Kitim Soparpaya. So here I think I would translate this as the Creator lights up every species, and every species carries the Creator's light. The Creator's limitless presence keeps on filling all of us to the brim. And then it also says, you are the true master. Praising you is beautiful and carries us through our life's voyage. Yeah, I think that's it that I have for that one. And then, so the next section says, Kaho Nanak Karte Kya Bata Jo Kich Karna So Kar Rahya. And here it's the message is, Nanak says, this is the story of the Creator. All actions are done by the Creator. Next section, where am I here? Duja Mehla, Jog Sabda Gyan, Sabda Vid, Sabda Brahmana. Khatri, Sabdang, Sur, Sabdang, Sudar, Sabdang, Parakirte. Kirte. Yeah. So this section, this one is interesting. I translated this one to say that Yog or unity is communicated as wisdom, which is communicated as Ved, which is communicated as Brahmin caste. And then duty is communicated as bravery of warriors, which is communicated as working for people as servants. And so that takes us to the next section that says, Sarab Sabdang, Ik Sabdang, Je Ko Jane Peo. Nanak ta ka das hai, soi niranjan deo. And so here the message is that all the communication is really one communication if you know the secret. And Nanak is serving the one who is pure and free. So then the next section, Mihla Duja, says, Ik Krisan Sarab Deva Dev Devata Atma Atmat Bas Dev Si. This one I really am having a hard time pronouncing. Bas Dev Siya, but Bas Dev Siya, Jeko Jane Beo. Nanak tak kadas hai, soi niranjan deo. So here I think the message is that the one is the creator and master of Krishna, the gods, and the soul. The soul is omnipresent and everywhere if you know the secret. And Nanak is serving the one who is pure and free. Then the next section, Mehla Pehla. Let's see. Kumbe, Badha, Jai Rahe, Jal bin Kumbh na hoy. Gyan ka badha man rahe, gur bin gyan na hoy. So the message here is that is like a metaphor. So just as water is contained in a pitcher, the pitcher itself is also made with water. So wisdom is guiding the mind, but the wisdom is also contained in the Guru's teaching. So without that wisdom, we can't receive the teaching. So the next section, Pauri. Pariya hove gunagar ta omi sad na Maria. Jeha Kale Kalna Teveho now Pacharya. So in this section it says, if a scholar does wrong, then the simple person, basically the person chanting Om, who learns from them, is not impacted. And it says one's deeds determine your label or your name or your reputation. In the next section it says, Asi Kala na Kedia kedia, jit dar darge gaya harye, parye ate omya vichar age vicharya, muhi chale so age marie. And so here the meaning is that playing games does not bring one into unity with the creator. A scholar and a person chanting Om are both contemplating a judgment by the creator. But following the path of self in your head, it leads to struggle down the road or struggle ahead. So that's my interpretation of the whole 4012. I don't know if there's questions or.
Thank you. So, Aileen, so from your point of view, what was the main message in the shloks and this body?
Yeah, I think it's really saying that it's having an awareness of the presence of the creator, and that all of the structures, all of the like the telephone game about this means this and this means this, as maybe the like the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures or structures are set up. It all really boils down to one kind of secret message, or there's one way to unlock the gyan, and that it's not about sort of scholarly games or learning these rules and structures. It's really about getting out of your own head and creating that connection with the creator, and having that awareness of the creator's presence in all. That's I think the overarching message.
Thank you very much, Ji.
Hanji.
So, do you have any observation about the shloks and Pauri? Any questions for Aileen?
The first thing I would like to say is, Aileen, I think you did a great job reading the Pauri. It had difficult words to pronounce, but I think you pretty much did very well.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think at least for me, I need to spend more time understanding some of the sloks where it says Jog Shabdam Gyan Shabdam Ved Shabdam Brahmane. I mean, the meaning is not very clear to me at the first go. They need a deeper observation. But I think, Aileen, you translated the word Shabdang as communicated as. So I wasn't very clear on that part. Like how you made like Shabdang, I think refers to Shabad, right? They just language is probably Sanskrit, or there's a reference to that. But I didn't understand like the context you brought enough. Like unity is communicated as wisdom, and would you like to?
That was a hard one to make sense of as I was trying to get my understanding straight, and it was really because that word sabdang, the meaning there is kind of that was what was difficult as I looked at the actual structure of the the sentence or the words, right? Because it's hard to, I think people are giving a lot of interpretation when you look at that to say, oh, well, here's the underlying message, right? It without even just getting to make sense of the words first, right? Because if I say, if it's Jog Sabdang, Gyang Sabdang, Ved Sabdam, Brahmana, right? It's kind of like saying, I mean, just word for word, this is not like there's no verb here, right? It's kind of just a poetic, just string of words as far as I can understand, right? So the Sabdam, unity words, knowledge words, Ved words, Brahman, how does that even make sense as a message, right? So the way I was trying to understand it was to say, this plus this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this. It's like a string. So I was thinking of it as, well, unity words, kind of become knowledge words, which become, that's how I was interpreting that string of thoughts, was that one was leading to the other. So the unity led to, through the words, it became knowledge. That's where I was trying to use that phrase, communicated as, is to represent what I was understanding. And I could be wrong. I just was trying to make some sense of how that structure could be interpreted.
And Chetandeep?
No, I don't have anything else at this point of time.
Okay, and do you have anything to add? Like, what is the main message you think from this body and the shlokas?
I haven't had a chance to go through it myself, but something like this slok is very interesting to me, or at least resonates with me. The one that comes next. Kumbhe badda jal rahe, jal bin kumbh na hoye. Gyan ka badda man rahe, gur bin gyan na hoye. So maybe I would like to add this to the conversation. What gyan is Guru Sahib talking about here? If we can reflect on that. And also, it's just a thought that I have been thinking about this slok, but the structure of the body is kumbhe badda jal rahe, and gyan ka badda man rahe, and then jal bin kumbh na hoye. And then he uses the word gur bin gyan na hoye. If we replace the word gur with man bin gyan na hoye, that completes the analogy with the first line. Kumbhe badda jal rahe, jal bin kumbh na hoye. Gyan ka badda man rahe, man bin. So is there a deeper meaning that we need to understand, or a deeper connection between gur and man? That's what I was reflecting on. So I think we should go ahead to the others.
Hanji, thank you, Veerji. Hanji, Kulwant Kaurji, you are mute right now. Hanji, Kulwant Kaurji. Hanji, Rana Veerji.
Hanji, Guru Fateh ji.
Hanji,
can you hear me?
And we can hear you, Ji.
Well, I joined later, so I didn't hear all the translation. I just started. I think I started listening from A. Krishnan Sarabdeva. But before I say anything, Eileen ji, thank you very much for your interpretation and explanation. The same thing as Chetan Deep ji said, that I didn't have a chance to reflect on the body, so I cannot get into deeper dialogue or ask any question. But one thing which came to my mind was, and I'm going to ask you this thing for my clarification, because the word Atma has come here, and the question which I have been pondering for some time, and since the word has showed up here, I just need to have your perspective. Atma in you and in me, is it different Atma or is it the same Atma? So if your Atma is same as mine, so basically we both are same. So the question which I need to reflect on that, what differentiates you and me? Is it the very soul? You have different soul than me, or is the same soul? So if the same soul, then we should be behaving very identically because soul is getting the gyan. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, we talk about ਕੁੰਭੇ ਬੱਧਾ ਜਲ ਰਹੇ ਜਲ. Now just we raise a point why the word has changed. The way I thought about this line was Gurbin Gyan na hoy. That is the first we have to read. Without Gur Gyan cannot be there, and this is the same Gyan which is going to hold our mind steady, mind steady. So when I looked at that, I said, what is the role of Atma? So my question is your Atma and my Atma same or the different?
Well, I think what was the message that I was taking away just looking at this Pauri was just the difference between this structure, right? I guess it's really the Hindu structure that was being called out, right? Where it says ek Krishna Krishnan Sarab Deva Devata Atma Bas Dev Siya Je Ko Jane Peo. This part right here, I think the takeaway as far as Atma is saying that really, if you look at it, there's just one creator that is the master of all of this structure of Krishna and gods, and Atma. And the secret is to realize that this Atma is universal or omnipresent, right? And it depends, I think, on how you translate this word Basdevsya, which I also find hard to say. This is the question. I mean, I think I've seen different ways that word is interpreted. I'm calling it kind of omnipresent or everywhere. And so I think that what's being all this really being spoken to is the difference between seeing that as universal and omnipresent, or seeing it as that's ruled by these different structures of gods and Krishna. So that's what I got from it. I don't know how it relates in other ways, but I think that was the message I took away about Atma here.
That's very thoughtful. Thank you very much. I just wanted to have a general thought on that, not only from you, general, is if everybody had the same soul because Atma is a part of the whole universal consciousness, what they call. So what is the thing why we behave differently if Atma is same? So this is more broader question, but I will leave it there. Thank you very much for your explanation.
Hanji, Kulwant Kaur ji, can you hear us now?
Hanji, bilkul, Hanji, sun sakde hain main tanu. I'm just listening. I think the whole party is a little tough, hard for me. The first line, first slok di jehda haiga dukh daru sukh rog pe ajas sam na hoi. So which I'm trying to understand agar if sukh is rog, is a disease, and then why people always want sukh, why people always want comforts.
Well, I would answer in my interpretation. You could think of rog as like the problem, right? So the disease, or you could say maybe think of it as the problem, right? So right. The problem is kind of like saying, oh, sometimes I'm looking for the creator, I'm searching, and other times I feel like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm having no problem, no need for the creator. And it kind of sets up this experience of you being in control instead of the creators in control, right? So it's kind of like an on-off switch you're flipping depending on how you're feeling in life. And I think the message is more about saying, hold on a second. Really, the creator is just is present everywhere in all species, everywhere you look, it's not this on-off switch and experience. And that's the guidance, right? To sort of think about it less in terms of, you know, the creator is the ATM of benefits that you go to. It's actually saying, well, wait a second, don't just go when you need, you know, the ATM. Recognize this other experience and the beauty of praising the creator, that this ongoing thing that will help you in life, rather than you know, when you feel out of control, you go to the creator. I think that was the differential I think I was taking from it.
Okay, got it.
हाँ जी, thank you जी।
हाँ जी जी, can
हाँ
you
जी,
hear me?
हाँ जी भाई खालसा फतेह जी।
Fateh ji.
हाँ जी,
So
I know you joined also late, but you heard the last conversation. If you want to add on that.
no, actually, I found Eileen's answer to be very, very beautiful answer. That that is the message intent of Guruji, what Eileen said. And as to why do we seek Sukh instead of Dukh, it's because we like Sukh, we are tuned to it, and Guruji is trying to change our perspective and say, hey, that's short term, right? So it's kind of like you eat. If somebody takes drugs or alcohol, it's like awesome, but then the next morning you have a terrible headache, right? And ultimately your level fails or whatever. Life goes down the tubes. So, but the short term is beautiful, and maybe that's what we all are doing with Sukh, and not the balanced view. That's one way to look at it.
Ranji, sounds good. And then you want to add anything about the shloks or Pauri, like the main message to us in this Pauri?
Uh, so and I think so. You can't actually point to one or the other. It's, we go back to particle wave duality. That's how it is. From one angle, it looks separate, and from another angle, it looks as if it's the one thing experiencing through all. So we probably won't be able to resolve that. And on the Jog Shabdam, Jnana Shabdam, the verb there is implied, which is hai. So it's like Jog Shabdam hai, Jnana Shabdam hai, Ved Shabdam hai. And then Shabdam, the last one, Brahman, it's kind of like a Delhi Deepak, I think so. So it is on both sides. So Shabdam, Brahman hai. So like Brahman is also Shabdam. And it continues on to Khatri, Asur, Shudra, and all that. So that's how I'm interpreting that giving structure to that sentence. Otherwise, like Eileen said, the sentence won't have formal structure. But then we assume the verb, then it may start making sense there. So yeah, those are a few comments.
Okay, thank you, Viji. You were breaking off a little bit today, but thank you.
Okay.
हाँ जी, अरविंद का जी।
हाँ जी,
हाँ जी,
अपना कहना। अच्छा, just one observation I will make. I didn't hear the whole thing. It's still, I might be breaking up. The whole idea is to be kept on the jyot. See, jat mein jyot, jyot mein jata. And everything is to be interpreted with that thing in mind. So Jog Shabdang is, if you want to get your outer and inner consciousness together, you need, that's a Jog. But can only happen through Upadesh. Shabdang is Upadesh. Gurbani Gurka Shabad is Shabdang. So this is even a constant topic in Siddh Ghost. Guru Nanak is keep on asking yogis, where is the Shabad? Where is that Shabad through which you have done the Jog? They don't have any Shabad like that. So it's not any Om or anything. It is a Gyan Shabdam. It should tell you about the Jyot. That Shabad, that Upadesh, that whatever scripture should tell you about your spirit, not about the Jat. That's why we can't put Hindus' perspective in this shlok. We could never put these four Varans. What are the four Varans? Ved Shabdang Brahmane. Brahmins used to call it as a Ved Shabad. So Gurbani is a Ved Shabad because it gives you the Upadesh. Then he says Khatri Shabdang. That Upadesh makes you Khatri. Khatri is the one who doesn't scare of dying. We say Sirtar Tali Gali Muri Ao. That is Khatri Shabdang. Then Sur Shabdang. It also makes you fully, enlightened. Sudar Shabdang. Sudar means who is looking after everyone. The Shudras were asked to, like the nature. Nature doesn't discriminate. So Shudra means he has to serve everyone. That person with that enlightenment has to serve everyone. Prakrita. It doesn't only go, Upadesh Chavarna Goswami, he doesn't only say. So I'll just stop here because, so Villa. Anyway, it was a good effort. Thank you very much.
Hanji, thank you, Virji. Hanji, Chetandeep ji, back to you for second round.
Yeah, I was reflecting on Dukh Daru Sukh Rog Pe Aja Sukh Tam Na Hui. I'm not sure if Guru Sahib is talking about the Dukh as the suffering or the Sukh as the comforts of life, that we have taken it literally. I think Dukh Daru is your medicine, and the Dukh he might be talking about, I'm not 100% sure, is the Vichode the Dukh. When I realized that I am separated, and oh jeda Dukh hai, Dukh of the Vichoda, that is my Daru. And Sukh is the Homme, the jeda the suffering that we actually have, that is the Rog basically. And then he's saying ki once I've understood ki, or I've realized ki jeda Vichode the Dukh hai, then the Sukh then the Sukh does not become a Rog. Tam means Rog, or now it doesn't become a Rog. So that's how I was understanding this particular line, because the next line says tu karta karna mana. It's a realization of mind. That mind is realized that you are the creator, I am not, and I am separated. So this realization is the one that does not let the Sukh become a Rog. That's how I was taking it.
Tam ki hai Chetan ji?
I just opened the Mahan Kosh and it says Tab Am means rogue, so then the rogue. I think now it does not become a rogue.
I think this, to me also, this interpretation seems to be the closest to the philosophy in general of Guru Granth Sahib. So, yeah.
I would like if anybody can comment on the slope. My question is, I still have an open question. Like Kumbe Badda Jal Rahe. So, if I can elaborate on my question, that is, we always say that Gur means Gyan. In all our discussions, if I am recalling it correctly, we always say Gur means Gyan. But here he has separated these two very clearly, and Gur bin Gyan na hoy. Right? So if anybody can comment on that, and also if there is any relation between Gur and Man.
So
doesn't Gur sometimes mean the teaching? Just that just the simple teaching. Maybe it's not Gur with a concur.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. So there is one thing which is teaching, and there's another thing which is wisdom. So if one is equivalent to wisdom, then Gur can be teaching.
In this body, it seems there is a relation or a connection between Gur and Man.
And that is also correct. I believe that can also be very true. Yeah, this exact equivalence that you draw, for 20 years, I have also been asking this to myself. And the way I kind of resolved it in my mind is that if Gur is the conscious element, right, inside us, which is imparting in some way of shape the knowledge, right, then you could interpret it like that. So the words of Gurbani are hitting you, your conscious self, which is then trying to understand it, interpret it, absorb it, become one with it, and through that experience it, and through that experience, Gyan comes. So from that perspective, Gur and Man become equivalent.
I need to reflect on that more.
So I think
what maybe or part of what the answer might be is, which I don't really have clear yet, but I was trying to relate it to the other line and that metaphor about the water being inside the pitcher and contained by the pitcher, but it's also in the pitcher, which is it's just a very hard, or it's made by the pitcher, right? So it was a hard metaphor for me to hold in my head. And then I was trying to take that metaphor forward to the next line. So in the metaphor, then if you use the same metaphor and apply it to the next line, what is the gur and what is the gyan? Is the gyan the water?
Yeah, that's what I would think. Gyan is the water. So.
And what's holding the water? The man?
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. Actually, it could be the other way around also, but I believe Gyan is water here, even though the words are kind of interchanged.
So the mind holds the water, or the mind holds the knowledge, but also, right? So
knowledge is not
because the metaphor also says that the water was also used to form.
Yep. So knowledge. Mind is contained by knowledge, and knowledge is produced by the mind. That's another way to look at it.
Okay, so with the teaching, so Gurbin Gyan Nahoy, with the teaching, the mind also produces the knowledge or achieves the knowledge, right?
Yeah. So Gur becomes the equivalent of the producer of the knowledge, and therefore the Gur and Man kind of are there.
Mm.
So an enlightened Man is nothing but Gur. That's another way to look at it, right? So there's so many ways to interpret it.
Mm.
So if I was to kind of break this and say an enlightened mind like Guru Nanak Ji, he produced the Gyan, and now with that Gyan, my man is contained. So that's one way to interpret it. The other way to interpret it is that my mind is contained by the Gyan, but that Gyan is truly realized by me, by my inner good, my inner man, when that man reflects on the Gyan, right? So reflects on the teaching rather, and then the Gyan, which is the wisdom, emerges.
Simply put,
Ranavirji?
Yes, I think it's very interesting observation. The way I was looking at these two lines, Gur bin gyan na hoye, gyan ka badla man rahe, that without divine wisdom, that we do not get the discerning wisdom or intellect, because you need to have divine wisdom, and that's why we are focused on the divine wisdom, the Gur. Without that, we do not get that intellect, what we call is discerning intellect, whereby we know what is wrong, what is right. If we have that type of knowledge now, then our mind is confined by that knowledge. It is going to do good things, which is telling it to be good, because from the divine wisdom which has come to us, and which is to avoid. That's how man is going to be confined by that wisdom, which has come from divine wisdom. In other words, intellect. One word I would, Gyan is intellect for me, and Gur is divine wisdom, which gives us intellect. And that intellect basically defines the boundaries for the mind, where mind can go and where it cannot go. This is the way I look at that. And back to
हाँ
you.
जी, thank you, Veer ji. हाँ जी, कुलवंत कौर जी, you want to add anything on this?
Hanji, I think what I'm taking it, because we are all confused with the word gur, or it could be the gur could be the source of knowledge, like it says, "Gyan ka badda man rahe, gur bin gyan na hoye." So gur is the source of knowledge, the knowledge, the gyan that we're talking about, and for me right now, I'm thinking that like Guru Granth Sahib Ji is our source of knowledge, and that knowledge help us to keep our mind stable. That's what right now I'm thinking about it. That's how I'm taking it.
हाँ जी, thank you जी. Veer ji.
So I have a question, which I think so is true for me, at least for most of the Asa Ki Vaar. I cannot relate the shloks and the bodies in one's continuous thought. I can treat them independent and they're beautifully independently, but when I bring them together, समझ नहीं आए कि ये श्लोक इस पौड़ी नाल क्यों रखे गए हैं.
हाँ जी, I think I always ask this question in all the previous discussions too, like how the shloks are related to body, because they kind of, at least theoretically, should be giving us the same message. So, Eileen, you have any for this particular
Yeah, I
shloks?
was I was finding the same thing as I was going through to try to come up with some kind of summary. But I think I guess the way I was looking at it is not the same message but related, right? Because the first part is talking. I mean, and again, this is just the surface level, right? But this talking about um, the universal aspect, of the joke in everything, and the tendency to not um, appreciate that, and not praise the creator in all ways, right? So that was the first kind of big takeaway, and then the second takeaway started to be around all of these structures that are, I don't know, I was kind of interpreting it as like telephone game of of caste, um, or the gods, and all of these things are masking this secret truth, which is that, again, the creator is everywhere. It's universal. The Atma is everywhere, right? So that was sort of another way into the same point of the universal truth. And then the last part was saying, this is the hardest part, was at the end to me, was talking about the teaching, right? And what do you do if you have a bad teacher? What if this message is somehow distorted or something like that, or you're just not getting the true message? And again, I think that this was the third way in to say, the answer is just not getting stuck in your head. The answer is not relying on these structures or scholars or anything else, but I think it's assumed then in that section it says, well, see section 1 and 2 before, right? Because it's the universal truth is where the answer lies. So that was the way I was bringing them together. But I agree, it's hard to follow a clear train of message.
हाँ जी, thank you जी. On this body, Eileen, how are you taking the word dargah? So, where is the ultimate the decision going to be?
I was taking it as in context, right? This is a hard one too. I was taking it in context of, you have these imperfect imperfect worshippers or imperfect, I don't even know how to describe it, seekers. Okay, so these seekers are trying to get to the Darga, and this is their desire. But one of them is a scholar, but he's giving the wrong message. Another one is a person who's chanting and not, I guess, really getting the true message. Just it's too simple, right? And so, when I was looking at this word, Marie, right? Hit, I guess this is being translated as hit or something like that. And I was thinking of that as impact, right? Like, because I was having a hard time understanding what it's meaning by hit. So ultimately what I was looking at with Darga was not a judging point, but it was like they were looking for that, judgment, that like, did I do okay? Did I do a good job? Right? They're seeking that. But again, at the end it says the way to connect with the Creator is actually to not face your own way, right? That you're just not going to get very far. You're going to struggle. So the last line is hard. The last part is. I only was making sense of it in context with the other last few lines.
And thank you, Ji. Ranaveer Ji, you want to add anything on the body? Last few lines?
No, I don't have anything to add. I would like a perspective from others on your question. What is Dargah here referring to? If somebody can clarify, that would be great. And Mu chale so agge mariye, what does that mean? If somebody can clarify.
Thank you, Ji. Ripudaman Ji, want to take a try?
Okay, I'll try. So ऐसी कला न खेड़िया जे दरगाह गया हारिए, and in the end मुंह चले so अग्गे मारिए. So a dargah, for me at least, tangibly, it's my true inner self. So my conscious self, so to speak, where I am literally in my heart of hearts, where I know I cannot deceive myself. So ऐसी कला खेड़िया, so that I'm totally. I know that I have not deceived myself again or the world again, right? That kind of a thing. So Dargah is my inner of the inner self, and that I'm equating to my Mool, my Hari, my Gobind. That's basically what it is. And Mu Challa So Agge Mariye is so Mu Challa essentially following kind of like Manmukh, you're facing, doing whatever you think rather than following the teachings. Agya Mariya is where my confusion comes, because this goes back to the last weeks, where we have said that we need to have a discussion on what Agya means. That what is next? Is it really the my future life? The next moment onwards, I'm really spoiling my life, remaining life, by being so stubborn, or is it actually there is a next life that we are talking about here? So that's an open question.
Thank you, Veerji. And I think we're almost out of time. Any final comments for today from your side, Ripudaman Veerji?
No, it was a very nice discussion. Sorry for joining late.
Thank you, Ji. Ji, Kulwant Kaur Ji, any feedback on Dargah or the last line, and any final comments?
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ I agree with the first speaker ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ he said about, is it about the again means next life or my future life? I'm also a bit confused which one we should take in. So
Okay. I think we have a parking lot topic of reincarnation.
right, exactly,
Right.
yes.
So, so we are keeping it for the separate discussion. But and Chaitanya ji,
No, I guess we're out of time. I was just thinking about Darge and Agge.
yes,
And
if you want to add something on it.
I was just thinking like Darge could be like something like a playground, or when we are preparing for a match, it says "Aisi karana khediye." Don't practice such things, so that when the moment of truth comes, or when actual time to comes to play the game, you actually lose. And again means the same thing. Like when the time comes to actually, because we are tested time and again in life every single day. So prepare yourself in such a way that when the time comes, you can actually win rather than lose.
And thank you, Virji. Aileen, thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation. It was really a difficult body, and I will give you last, like you can summarize and the final comments for today.
Well, yeah, I think I covered it, and I really like that last comment by Chindi Birji, because I was also having a little trouble putting context to the I see Kala. And I think the game getting to the final match is a great way to sort of summarize the whole Pauri. It's just sort of all of this preparation. What's important to remember is this is the ik and the universal presence, no matter what else is happening, ups and downs, or um, um, the structures that we tend to use to define things and explain things. It's really all one. And I like the way that's summed up to say, you have to remember this because that's what's going to help you down the road.
And thank you very much, ji. So,
Thank you.
like,
Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.